So in this video we'll be discussing another method of factorization. In the last video we considered factorization, so to this one we'll be looking at another method of solving quadratic equation. The reason why we have other method is because not all quadratic equations can be factorized. It's not a quadratic equation that can be factorized. It's not a quadratic equation that you'll be able to obtain two factors that you will combine that will satisfy those things that we talk about under factorization. So that is why we have other methods. Then the values of x that we obtain by solving a quadratic equation by any method, we call them the roots or zeros of the quadratic equation. You remember in the last video we got our x as -3 and +8. So -3 and +8, they are the solution of the quadratic equation. So we refer to them as the roots or the zeros of the quadratic equation. So if the question says you should find the roots or zeros of a quadratic equation, what the question is trying to say is you should solve the quadratic equation. Now we look at another method of solving quadratic equation. This is by using the quadratic formula. So as you can see on the screen, the quadratic formula is given as x equals to -b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. In the last videos I've discussed how we can identify our a, b, c in any quadratic equation that you are given. So in using the quadratic formula, the first thing you are expected to do is to write out the values of a, b, c. Once you write out the values of a, b, c, you write out the quadratic formula, then you substitute and simplify. So it's not more than that. Let's take this as an example now. So we have this quadratic equation. So from this quadratic equation, our a will be what? Don't forget the number that multiplies x squared. In this place there's an invisible one, so our a here is 1. B will be the one that multiplies x, and that will be what? -5. And c is a constant term, the one that is alone, which is what? -24. Please take note, the sign is very important. The sign is very important. So I've written out our a, b, c. So we now substitute into the quadratic equation, the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals to -b minus, we have minus first, so minus b is the next one. Our b is -5, so it's -5, so put it in bracket. Our b is -5, so we have minus first, this is the minus, b is -5, so b is -5, put it in bracket. The next thing is plus or minus square root of, the next one is b squared. Our b is -5, so put it in bracket, -5 all squared minus, the next one is 4ac. 4ac means 4 times a times c, so 4a is 1, we put it in bracket. C is what? -24, we also put that in bracket. We close the bracket, so our square root still covers this. Everything divided by 2a. A is what? A is 1. Good. So we now simplify this. This will give us x equals to, this is minus times minus, this minus here will multiply this minus, that will give us plus, so that will be +5. The next thing is plus minus square root of, we now simplify the terms in the bracket. This is -5 squared. -5 squared means -5 times -5, -5 times -5, and minus times minus will give you plus. 5 times 5 will give you 25. So -5 squared is +25. Do you understand? It will give us +25. So +25, don't forget, is the same thing as 25. So this is 25. The sign that is here, this is minus, we multiply this minus sign, or all this sign, assume we have a sign here, there should be a sign here. Let's say it is an invisible plus. So we have plus times minus, that will give us minus, then times this minus here, it will give us plus, so that will now give us plus. Then we now have 4 times 1, that will give us 4. 4 times 24, 4 times 1 will give us 4, then times 24, we are going to have 96. Everything divided by 2. Then this will give us plus 5 plus or minus. If you add up what's inside the bracket, 25 plus 96 will give us 121 divided by 2. So we have this, x will be equals to plus 5 plus or minus square root of 121 is 11. If you press that from calculator, we have 11 over 2. So you now have to simplify this. You write this in 2 ways. The first one, x is plus 5. We have plus 5. So we can, this is plus or minus, so we do that of the plus. You can do that of the plus first, plus 11 over 2. Or the second one is plus 5. We still have plus 5 at the front. We are using the minus sign now, so plus 5 minus 11 over 2. So when we do this, the first one will give us plus 5 plus 11, we have plus 16 divided by 2, that will give us what? Plus 8. Or the second one, we have plus 5 minus 11. Plus 5 minus 11 will give us minus 6. So minus 6 divided by 2 will give us minus 3. So this is our value of x by quadratic formula. Now let's take the second example here. So the same way, we have our a, we write out our ABC. A will be 3, B will be minus 17, C will be plus 10. Are you with me? So if you substitute into the quadratic expression and you solve this, at the end you will obtain x to be equals to 2 over 3 or 5. 2 over 3 is the same thing as 0.6667 if you write it as decimal. You can leave your answer as decimal, you can leave your answer as fractions. It doesn't affect the mark. Do you get that? So that is for quadratic formula. In the next video, we'll be considering completing the square method. Thank you.